Am I the only one who doesn't care that Sonny Bill's returning to the NRL? I mean, the only thing I actually do care about in terms of him returning is the fact that he's going to the Roosters on $150,000 a year. I think there's still like half a season left. Then you add in the finals. Roosters already have the best team in the comp, and you just go on and strengthen them with Sonny Bill. But even in terms of strengthening, that can be debated because apparently from what people saw when he played for Toronto, he didn't look very good. He's 34. You've got to assume injury is going to catch up with him soon, and just age is going to catch up with him soon. But yes, him signing with the Roosters, it is a big deal. But at the same time, I don't particularly care myself. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, Luke, why are you doing a video on something you don't really care about? Well, the reason is just Sonny Bill is such a big topic to talk about, whether it's rugby or rugby league or boxing, whatever he decides to do. It's always a big deal. And it is something that I feel like I should talk about on the channel. It's a rugby league channel. He is signing for the Roosters. And also, I feel like it just affects the season as a whole. Now, obviously, the COVID season, it's a season like no other. I don't know if someone wins if it's going to have an asterisk, but it's always going to be remembered, that's for sure. And it's just going to be a weird season. That being said, though, the Roosters, well, not the Roosters in particular, but the NRL are allowing the Roosters an exemption, but they're allowing the best team in the comp, the team that's gone back-to-back, an exemption to sign a player. And it just makes no sense to me. Now, they can argue that Sonny Bill won't play for any other team, and if that's the case, well, so be it. He can't play for any other team. But now they just opened the floodgates because they've just let Sonny Bill sign for $150,000 after years and years of teams trying to sign players and them saying, nah, that's not their value, you can't sign them. You go all the way back to the Israel Folau, to the Eels, where they stopped him from signing with the Eels because they said, that's not his value, he should be signing for more. And then years later, I know different leaderships and different CEOs and that sort of stuff, but at the same time, they've had a history of denying teams the right to sign players for unders, as they call it. And then the Roosters, out of all the teams, the team who needs this the least, the Roosters, they're stacked from fullback to lock. They are stacked. They've got a really good team. They had a bit of a shaky start to the season, but they finally found their feet. And granted, they do have a few injuries at the moment, but every team has a few injuries. Doesn't mean you can just go and bring in one of the best players in the history of the NRL in Sonny Bill. It's crazy to me. And even their second row stocks aren't even that bad. Let's take a look at their lineup for this week. You can see Orbison is in there. Tupanua is pretty decent. Courtney's still to come back. I think Radley's out for the whole season. But Orbison, great second rower. Crichton's there. They have a really good second row. And then you add in all the people who are going to come back from injury for the finals. Then you add in Sonny Bill. He's going to be probably coming off the bench. Mate, they still got Takiaho, Isaac Liu, all those sort of guys. Mate, this team is going to be stacked. There is just no way that any team should beat the Roosters. Now, it might happen. It definitely could happen. It's been a weird season. But on paper, no one beats that Roosters side. They are so good. And why is it always the Roosters out of all the teams that whenever a star player leaves or is injured or something, they just bring in a replacement who's even better? You look at Blake Ferguson. Blake Ferguson goes for pretty decent coin to the Eels. Who they bring in? Brett Morris on probably unders too. So they've let that one go. Obviously, he wasn't playing Origin, that sort of stuff at the time, but they've brought him in. Latrell goes. They bring in Josh Morris, one of the most consistent centers in the comp, probably the best defensive center in the comp. And obviously, he's paying for unders, where other teams, if they try to sign him, they probably would have went, nah, you're not paying them enough, not going to happen. Even down to people say, like, Cooper Cronk, big loss. He is a big loss, but they've brought in probably the biggest hyped up halfback in the comp since Nathan Cleary. It was always Nathan Cleary and Kyle Flanagan, and Kyle Flanagan is obviously pretty decent. We've seen him to be pretty good. So yeah, it's just, I don't understand how the Roosters keep getting away with this. Everybody knows that their salary cap seems to be higher than everyone, but this one just seems very, very blatant. I know it's only for half a season. Sonny Bill on $150,000 though. That is ridiculous. Now, I saw a few Roosters fans sort of allude to the fact that, Broncos were allowed to sign Ben Teo. Where was everyone complaining about that? Difference is Ben Teo, there is a difference in quality. Obviously, Ben Teo is on the final, the back end of his career. But he didn't just sign with the Super League team for $5 million a season like Sonny Bill just did. There's a big difference. Sonny Bill's literally gone from making $5 million a season to on $150,000. You can't tell me something seems a little bit dodgy there. He doesn't love the sport that much. I mean, he's the same dude who walked out on the sport multiple times, actually. So you can't say it's for the love of the sport. It could be for the love of winning trophies. He's definitely gone to the top team, which once again, it just proves the point of why are they giving them an exemption. If he really loved the sport and wanted to play, send him to the Warriors. He's a Kiwi. Let him play for the Warriors. Let him play for some of those teams. Send him to the Bulldogs. He used to play for the Bulldogs. Send him somewhere. Just not the Roosters. The Roosters are definitely not it. And just like I said, now it's opened the floodgates. Ricky Latelli was his teammate at Toronto. Chad Townsend's come out and said that he should be allowed to play. I definitely agree. If you're going to let Sonny Bill play for unders, well then you better let Ricky Latelli play. Better let him come to the Sharks. Sharks could do with the centre. Bronson Jerry is out with the drug ban, so may as well throw him in there. I mean, he's come from the Sharks. He's won a comp. He's done the same as what Sonny Bill's really done. So why not throw him in there? And then that begs the question for any other guys. Any Super League guys want to come over? Their comp's done. May as well sign some Super League guys as well. It's like, where do you draw the line? Sonny Bill, he is a big name, but just the fact that he got an exemption to play for the Roosters does leave me a little bit salty. In terms of him actually playing though, I don't know what to expect from him. I would assume probably not going to be superstar status when he plays. So in one sense, I know he was on $5 million a season at Toronto, but from what everyone said, he wasn't playing well. I think the highlights I saw was kind of like a lowlights compilation of him dropping the ball and missing tackles and that sort of stuff. He's definitely older, probably slowed down quite a bit. So maybe 150,000 isn't paying overs for him, or isn't even paying unders, I should say. But it's just the fact that he went from such a big contract, and he's got such a big name. If any other team tried to do it, they wouldn't allow it. It's just the Roosters seem to get the exemption. That's my problem with it. Not the fact that he's actually signed for that, but just the fact that the NRL's allowed it after years of not letting other teams do it. Now, it wouldn't be a Sonny Bill story without there being a huge media circus about it, and I assume it definitely will happen. Apparently, he's coming back and he's got a quarantine for 2 weeks, but you watch the first game he plays, they'll be doing highlights packages, and they'll be talking to former players, and they'll be talking about how great he is and that sort of stuff, which he is. He is a great player, fantastic player, but it's always, it's actually like kind of repulsive how much the media actually loves him when he plays in the NRL, especially as a Bulldog supporter. When he first came back to the Roosters, it was actually like infuriating, all like the sort of hype packages they do about him and act like he's such a good bloke and blah, blah, blah. Look, that might be true, but at the same time, you know, Bulldogs fans, we watched him walk out mid-season, so there definitely will always be a little bit of saltiness there. But yeah, I don't understand the love for Sonny Bill from rugby league. He's like someone who plays a few seasons and then pisses off to another team and then comes back and then leaves to go play rugby again and win a World Cup there and play for the best team. It's just, I just don't get it. Anyway, guys, I feel like at this point I'm just ranting about Sonny Bill in general at this point. The point of this video was to talk about the NRL and how if they're going to do one thing for one team, they've got to do it for every team. They can't just pick and choose. I know Volandis said it's like a situation for situation sort of thing, but you can't do that. You can't look at Sonny Bill and say, yep, we'll allow him, but hey, Ricky Latelli, you even play for the same team, you can't do it, and any Super League guys, nah, we're not going to let you guys in. Because how can you justify it? It's not like Sonny Bill had just been sitting around for years. He literally just come from the Super League, was playing for Toronto. So any other Toronto players, NRL teams should try and sign them up on the cheap, especially teams who are competing for a trophy this season, who are competing to win the premiership. Because Roosters just done it. I mean, the Raiders have already signed half of the England team. They may as well sign the rest of them. Go on, Raiders. Go and sign some players on the cheap. Anyway, guys, I think that's where I'm going to leave the video. Leave in the comment section below, what are your thoughts on Sonny Bill signing with the Roosters? It's not official, but it looks like it kind of is like a hush-hush. It is official sort of thing. So I'd say it's probably going to happen. So leave in the comment section below, what are your thoughts on him signing? And what are your thoughts on the NRL allowing it to happen? Because for me, personally, as you can tell, I'm not a big fan of it. 150,000. I mean, the first reports were 200,000 people blowing up about it. Now 150,000. It just doesn't seem right for a player of his name, because like I said, there's been other players who've tried to sign for unders and the NRL stopped it, and now all of a sudden Sonny Bill does it. The dude who's walked out on the game multiple times, and they're like, wow, Sonny Bill, perfect, come back in, we need you. I don't know, is the NRL desperate? It seems like it. Let me know in the comment section below, are the NRL desperate? Also, while you're at it, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, while you're at it, you may as well go ahead and leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it, and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Also, make sure to click the notification bell to let you know when I post videos, because, you know, I'm posting again. Went a long while without posting, so even if I go on another hiatus, you'll definitely know, because you'll get a notification when I upload next. Anyway, guys, follow me on social media as well. You may as well. Mr. Luke on YT, it's on the screen right now. Mr. Luke is the Facebook page as well. I haven't been posting on there a great deal, but may as well give it a follow. And yeah, that's all I got to say. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.